Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday, and it's a great day. I think it is. Don't rush the stage you're in. Don't rush the stage that you are in. You might be going through something right now, right? We all are. And it's a stage. You're going through, you're passing through. And in that passing through, you're learning something about yourself. Even as you are experiencing in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, even while you were doing that, you are learning something about yourself. And it is that is most interesting. Because that skill that you learn and develop, what skill is that? The ability to polarize your mind. Polarize your mind, you say? Yes. What does it mean to polarize one's mind? It means your present problem, yay! And then you don't despise. Remember, don't hate the stage that you're in. Just polarize. And you're going to learn something about yourself. So, whatever stage you're in right now, right? And you don't want to be in it, it's all right. Polarize yourself. To polarize yourself, it means to turn your attention towards what you would prefer to become. That's what it means to polarize yourself. When you turn your attention towards who you want to become instead of complaining about where you are, that is where the change happens, in that space. In that space right there between who you are and who you want to become. There's a space. Space. The final frontier. I digress. But it's not so vast that you cannot get there. It is a simple polarization. And here's the exercise to help you to polarize. I use music because, well, I love music. And so when I turn on my song, I already know what mood I want to be in because it's the mood I want to rehearse. It's the neurological pathway I am forming. So every time I play that song and I put myself in the mood, for as long as the song lasts, I'm in that mood. I'm no longer fretting about where I am or what I was doing or what I didn't like or what I don't like. My only attention is focused on dancing because I'm in the mood, right? I'm in the mental attitude. That's where I put myself, in that mental attitude for 3 minutes. And I flood my body with all of those beautiful endorphins. And how many times a day do I do that? As many as I can. Because I know that as I rehearse that mood, I know what I'm doing from there. I'm not just dancing because I can. I'm sure it's fun because I love that too. But in the back of my mind, I know that what I am rehearsing in that moment is setting down a neurological pathway for me to live by. That's what it's doing. And so I put myself in that mood. You would call it a state akin to sleep. Some people are still with theirs. You know, they lay or sit quietly. Me, I love music. And the way a song makes me feel, right? Because remember, when you experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, for me, I would be dancing because that's what I love to do. That's what I'd be doing naturally. I would dance. And so in that moment, I do it. And as I am dancing, my mind is where? I've put my attention upon the woman I want to become. So I've polarized myself from complaining about my situation to living from a new place. Because that is the attitude I would have. You see, when I use music, I feel that attitude that I would have, that mental attitude. I put myself in that mental attitude at that moment. And I just lean with it, rock with it, I flow with it. And when the song is over, I carry on with my work. And it's interesting when you feel good like that and you've flooded your body with those hormones because you know what you're doing. They take a little bit of time to leave the body, like to dissipate. And so you can ride the wave of that high for as long as possible. Right? And every single time you catch yourself wanting to complain about where you are and how much you don't like it and how much you want it to change, flip it. Move yourself mentally from where you are to what you would be doing naturally. You would be feeling a particular way naturally, speaking a particular way, walking and talking in a particular way. Then that is what one rehearses. So the stage that you are in, you don't hate it. You don't rush it. You know what daddy says. When you rush the brush, you waste the paint. So don't rush it. Polarize yourself in the new direction. And it teaches you something. Every stage that you pass through, you learn something. You learn more and more that you are capable of moving your mood at will. So much so that there'll come a time when you won't have to think about moving the mood. You'll just move it. I like to move it, move it. You know what? I sure do. Move that mood. And you move it mentally. You move it mentally. So don't rush where you are. Don't try and speed through it, talking about, I'm going to change in 30 days. No, 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 no. The moment you put a time frame on there, you slowed yourself down. Because that's all you're looking at now. You don't look at that. You look at what you want to become, who you want to become. Take that. Let that absorb all of your attention. Neville says, allow it to crowd everything else out of your mind. That's what it is. Allow that new attitude, mental mood, state of mind. Allow it to just saturate every single part of you. Because that is the art of mental polarization. You're not allowing that, whatever it is you feel, to drag you somewhere. Especially, people say, well, you gotta sit with those feelings of despair and anger and blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. The moment you recognize that madness, why? Because as within, so without. Where you flow mentally as a habit is what you live out in your life. Because every time you do something, you are forming a neurological pathway. And as you form a neurological pathway, you have to behave like that neurological pathway. So the more that you entertain, woe is me. I'm not saying that we don't feel that way. Of course we feel, woe is me. Of course we feel, of course we feel those things. They're natural. We're human. We have emotions. We pass through stages. But remember that the stage you frequent the most habitually is the type of life you will live. Period. So mentally polarize yourself by turning your attention towards who you want to become. What would you be doing if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? There is something you would be doing. There's something you'd be doing. What is that? You know what that is. What would you be doing? Okay, you got it? What you'd be doing? Good. You can see it? Okay. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel what you would be doing? Because it's going to make you feel a particular way. The moment you say, oh my goodness, I'd be getting out of bed like this. You know that physical action of getting out of bed. But you see the feeling side. If you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, how would you feel as you got out of bed? Make yourself feel that. And as you feel it, get out of bed. And every morning, put yourself in that place, in that mental place, the way you would feel when you get out of bed, and get out of bed. Sooner rather than later, all of the things that go along with that neurological pathway, that mental pathway, you will interact with them. Because why? Because you've become it. You've become it. You see, the thing is, you don't chase the thing. See that stage that you're in there right now? You can't chase your way out of that. You polarize yourself out of it. What would you be doing? What would you be saying? How would you be feeling? How would you be feeling? Then that is the feeling you put yourself into. Because a lot of people think, well, I'm just pretending. No, you are not pretending. Oh, yeah, I'm the great pretender. You're not pretending a single thing. You are rehearsing what you would be doing. And the reason I say one thing is because it is easier to focus on just one thing and build the feeling of that one thing. Because now you're focused on that one thing. You're not pulled, oh, but maybe I'd do this. Oh, no, maybe I'd do that. No. So take the time. That's why you don't rush the stage. If you are in a place where you just want to complain about this thing you're dealing with, stop. Don't complain. Look at it and answer the question. What would I be doing in reality if I were the man or the woman I wanted to be and living my ideal life. So when you say you're living your ideal life, you're not picking out, oh, I'd be driving this, or I'd be doing, no, your ideal life is just that. Your ideal life. You don't have to figure it out. You select the ideal life and what that would feel like. Loving wife, loving husband, you know, contented farmer. What would you be doing? Listen, to know that you have to get up at the crack of dawn to go milk a cow or shear a sheep, or you are a special type. Because it's not every day you want to get up and go be with the animals. But overall, you say, oh, that's what I love doing. I just love my farm, you know? I'll hear my meh, you know. Wah, 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 wah. You walk around, you hear all the noises. And you know when those girls see you, those hens see you, they just come running. Ooh, what you got for me today? What treats you got for me today? And you get all excited about just being there. And you know that there are going to be mornings when you go, oh, oh, if that rooster crows one more time while I want to sleep. Oh, you know there'll be mornings like that. But they are few and far between, because what drives you and what makes you feel beautiful is oh, I get to walk outside and inhale the fresh air. I get to make fresh bread. I get to, you see that? That is where you put your mind upon who you want to become. The farmers markets, the teaching people about beekeeping, all of these things that would encompass living a homestead life. You don't go through and pick out which one and blah, blah, blah. No, you get the feeling of how you would get out of bed every single day, the feeling of what it would be like for you to get out of bed every single day. And every time you get out of bed, you practice that feeling. You lay there until you catch the feeling and you say, ah, yeah, this is exactly how I would feel. And you just feel it. Why are you feeling it? Because the feeling is building the neurological pathway. And the neurological pathway inside your brain is how you will live. So then, because you've already determined the type of life you want, well, that neurological pathway brings you into different scenarios and situations. And then, oh, look, you got a homestead. And all you did was get out of bed with the mental attitude of owning a homestead and what that feels like for you and how much you love it. So you don't hate where you're at. You don't rush it. You don't grudge it. You polarize over and over and over, because that's what we do naturally. You see, the reason when Neville says to you, let it take on the tones of reality, what would you be naturally doing? Not what you would hypothetically be doing, because we don't live by way of a hypothetical. We live by way of the feeling of what that is. So naturally we get out of bed. So naturally, how would you get out of bed? Build that neurological pathway by just putting yourself in that mood before you get out of bed. So that when you get out of bed, you are rehearsing how you would get out of bed on a daily basis if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. Oh, but Angela, you make it sound so easy. Because it is. What mood do you get out of bed in every single day? That is what your life looks like. I know how I get out of bed every morning because somebody hollers in my ear. He says, "Er, er, er," every single day. This young whippersnapper. Oh, oh. That's how I get out of bed every single day. To see that face. To see that face and be chased by him. Oh, Lord, have mercy. To walk in that room and maybe there's an egg because there's a hen in there. Don't get it twisted. Roos don't lay eggs. They're failers. But there's a hen in that room with him, and he guards her like it's his life. He sure does. So I think she's broody now because she's in the corner. So I got 11 eggs. So this is how I get up every day. And me, I just get that feeling of, that's exactly how I would get out of bed. In a different location, but it's exactly how I get out of bed. And I just get out of bed in that mental attitude. But Angela, how long? How long do I have to do it for? Stop asking. You see, because you're rushing where you're at. The moment you stop and ask, how long is it going to take? You are no longer polarized in the direction of who you want to become when you ask that question. You go right back into the old neurological pathway and you relive it every time you complain because it is a different place. So every time that you catch yourself complaining about where you are, catch yourself, because you're in the old, you're living the old. But if you take the moments, this is why music helps me so much. I put on my favorite jam. What am I listening to right now? We don't care what it feels like, or whatever she says. Da 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 da. Ah, da 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 da. We got love and it feels right. You know, I heard that song. I've heard that song a couple times, and I was mopping the floor at work at the liquor store, right? So I decided I pop out my phone and I say, "Let me search that song." And uh, it took me for 6. If you know cricket, you know what that is. It took me for 6. I saw the name Jocelyn Alice, and I said, "Shut the front door." I know Jocelyn Alice. Oh, yeah. Not like friends or anything, but same bass player. Same bass player. I was there, and I remember them rehearsing. Oh, and that's where she is now. And who would have thunk it? So that song is on repeat. You go, Jocelyn girl. That song is on repeat. Feels right. Right? It just feels right. So when you get the feeling of who you want to become, it is telling you, oh, that's what you want. And the moment you decide that that's what you want, you start to set down a pathway for it. So you have to keep yourself doing that thing to stay true. Neville Goddard says, stay faithful to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He says it so poetically. He really does. He's so verbose. He says it so poetically. Right? Faithful to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Mm. But in layman's terms, what you are doing is setting down a neurological pathway by way of the feeling and the repetition. Why? Because that is how we get things into ourselves, into our psyche. How? By feeling it repeatedly. You doubt me, do you? How many times did you have to go out driving before you? Some of us still need more practice to, lift up that little handle to indicate to the right and pop it down so we can indicate left. Keep practicing, you'll get it. Well, how many times did you have to practice? How many times were you excited to get in the car and go, ooh, I was so excited I'm going to drive? You know how our teenagers are. Can I get my license now? Slow your roll. Slow your roll. Right? Revel. Bask. Right? Soak in it. You ever watch chickens sunbathe? That's what I mean. Allow the warmth of what you feel to permeate your body. And bask in the mental attitude. Because when you feel it is when you will do it. And as you do it, you are living it. So you don't rush the stage that you're at. Because you are learning to do something in that stage. You know how your parents used to tell you, stop trying to grow up so fast. That's what that means. Allow yourself to fully experience what we call life. Yes, handsome, I know. I'm going to feed you. You don't fret. Imagine that on a Sunday morning when I just want to sleep in. I've learned. I've learned because that is my life. That is what makes my life beautiful. It really is. It really does. So you find and you put your mental attitude, your mood. How does Neville Goddard say it poetically? Experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That's how he says it. That's how he says it. And what is he telling you? He's saying to you, what would you be doing if you were living the life you wanted? There's one thing you'd be doing that would confirm for you that this is my life. This is the life I wanted to live. What would that be? And that is what you rehearse because you would naturally be doing it. You're not doing something far-fetched. You're doing something that you would naturally be doing. Who's here? Listen, I gotta say it. Ebony and Ivory. Girl, hello. Welcome, Ebony. Let me tell you, I don't know if I've met you before. I don't know. But welcome to the space. And Flo Smiles. Flo Smiles. Thank you. I think I saw what you did with the podcast. That's you, right? Thank you. Listen, I just love what you do. Really and truly. I love what you do. You saw my attempts. You saw my testings and what I'm doing. You probably shook your head and said, girl. But I keep telling you, I'm practicing being more tech savvy. I am. Matthias, I see you, darling. Ray Ray, Ray Ray is in the house. It's symmetric. Is in the house. Hey, girl, I see you. Ow. I wonder, is Baba 200 here today? It's good to see you. Mr. Stafford Jr., are you here? Because you haven't made yourself known in the chat. Melly Mel is in the house. Joaquin is in the house. K Frame Classics is in the house. Yeah. Ray of Sunshine. How about dearest Liza, darling? Are you in the house? Listen, thank you all for being here. Kiddo, I just had to scroll up for a minute. And Naima, hello. Listen, we're going to wrap it up because I don't want to keep you long because YouTube is telling me 30 minutes. You've been yakety yakking. So, I'm keeping track of the time. Don't grudge where you are at. Why not? Every time you complain, here's what you are literally doing. Your brain has what we call neurological pathways. It's got neurons in there. And when you do the same thing the same way every time, those neurons wire themselves together like a little light pathway. And every single time, because what we do, we look, we see things. And when you wire yourself, your brain is saying, scanning, scanning. Why? Because it's looking for what is familiar. And when it finds what is familiar, what makes it familiar? Because you do it all the time. So when it finds what is familiar, you will act in that way. Because you've practiced. Every time you complain, you're practicing. And every time you practice, you lay down a pathway mentally inside your brain. And then that is what you do. And that is the life you live. And I know sometimes it might be a little bit challenging to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to know through observation. Look at your present life. When you get up and you say, "Ooh, I got to go grocery shopping." Are you walking there or are you driving? So the moment you've decided you're going somewhere and that you're driving, your brain has selected the program for driving. So you get in the car and dun, 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 you drive. Period. You didn't have to learn to drive. No, you learned. You have a pathway in your brain that tells you this is how we drive. So let's kick it up a notch. Why I gotta date the same kind of man all the time? Why I keep getting the same kind of loser? Huh. Because there is a neurological pathway for that type of man. How did it? Let's pull a Deborah Cox. How did you get here? How did that neurological pathway get there? Because you encountered a man once and he hurt you. He left an impression in your brain. Oh, yes, he did. So now, remember, your brain says scanning, scanning, scanning. And that's how you'll find it because that's the neurological pathway you've got. Don't feel left out, fellers. Because that's what happens with chicks. She for the streets. Now, I ain't saying she a gold digger. Oh, see? That is what you believe is out there. That is a neurological pathway. So you must encounter that type of woman. You must encounter that type of man. So how does one change? How do you get the type of man or the type of woman that you want in your life? Well, buckle up, buttercup. You get it by becoming. the type of man or woman. You don't say. Well, how? Well, you must remember the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. The type of person that you are determines the type of life you will live. So go back to Neville Goddard when he says, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. So would you get up every morning and go, oh, this heifer? Ugh, oh, look at him. Is that how you would get up every morning if you were in your ideal relationship? Is that how you would talk when you walk down the street? Go, "Ugh, look at him. Just another dusty bum." Is that how you would get up every morning if you were in your ideal relationship? No, you would not. If you were in your ideal relationship, you would roll over in the morning and you would sigh. Even if you are a man, you would sigh and go, ooh, she's all mine. Look at her. That smile, them eyes, those thighs. Woo! Mine? How did I get so lucky? You would look upon her with appreciation. You would smile even if you're at work at your desk. If you're at work and you're driving that forklift, you would say, that's my baby. That's my girl. What sweet treat can I take her today? I just want to show her that I've been thinking about her. Let me send her a text. Now, ladies, what would you be doing if you were booed up in your ideal relationship? What kind of woman would you be? What would you be doing? How would you speak about that man? Would you smile to yourself and go, oh, yeah. Mm. You know how we get, right? You know how we get. Me, I'd probably bake something because that's my personality. Just so I can watch him eat it and go, ooh, girl, please, sir, can I have some more? Right? That's my personality. That's what I would be doing. That is what I do. Right? That's what you become. Well, how did you become it? You become it because you are, every time you behave in that fashion, you set down a neurological pathway for that behavior. So when you say, I'm your baby tonight, that is not a cantankerous woman. That is not an angry woman. That is a satisfied woman. Hello, right? Fellas, I don't know what song y'all would be singing. I don't know what you be rapping. I have no idea. But there's probably that song that, that represents, you know? Oh, shoot, you could pull a Sade. Smooth operator. All I'm saying to you is we become what we rehearse. So if we continually rehearse, I ain't saying she a gold digger, or you ain't nothing but a hound dog. If that is what we rehearse, well, then that's what you are. And if that's what you are, that's the type of relationship or situationship you're going to get yourself into. It doesn't happen by magic. It happens because of the neurological pathway. You tie your shoes in the same way every time. That is a neurological pathway. You chew your food in a particular way. That's a neurological pathway. The way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, that is a neurological pathway. And how did it get there? Is through practice and feeling. That's how it got there. So If you don't want that one, you got to put a different one down. And how do you put a different one down? Experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. That's how you lay it down. You begin to what? You don't hate the fact that lonely, I'm so lonely. You don't hate your loneliness. You polarize yourself towards companionship. What kind of companion would you be? Yes, maybe there's a song that you play that puts you in the mood of the type of companion you would like to be. And you polarize yourself in that direction. And instead of complaining about what you presently are, you feel what you would like to become. That's all you do. You thought it was something else that we do? No, sugar. We do this the same way every time. Because that is the nature of man. The nature of man is to contemplate and to do. That is our nature. And so we do it. And I was saying that to my son the other day in the kitchen. I said, you just got to do it and you do it well. And he looks me in the eye. And he says, doing it and doing it and doing it. But I said, how do you know LL Cool J? So now every time he is practicing his Muay Thai, his kicks and his punches and his knees and whatever he's doing, he's like, yeah, I got to do it and I got to do it well. Because he knows the way he practices those kicks, those jabs, the blocking, having the hands up to the face, the gloves up to the face, he knows that how he practices, that's how he's going to be in the ring. So don't think that it is far-fetched or in hypotheticals. It is how we already live life. So when you catch yourself saying crazy shit like, oh, I've been trying. I've been trying and nothing is changing. I've been trying. Trying implies that you do it and nothing changes. But if you say, I'm practicing, practicing tells you what? That you're doing it. That you're doing it. And the more you do it, then you become it. And when you become it, you live it. Look, don't hate where you're at. Don't judge where you're at. Polarize where you want to be. Polarize yourself. Turn your attention towards who you want to be and rehearse that one thing that you would be doing. Why one thing? For as much as we think we multitask, you can only do one thing at a time. Of course. Allow that one thing to crowd everything else out of your consciousness, and that is all you become aware of. And you rehearse it. Because you're not pretending, you're not playing a game, you're setting down a neurological pathway. And whatever neurological pathway you set down inside your brain is what you are going to live. I trust that this makes sense to you. If it doesn't, slide into my DMs. Holla at your girl. And we'll go through that same process. You are not going to tell me your life story, not because I don't care about your life story, but the life story is a neurological pathway. Because you've been telling it. You will tell it to anybody who will listen. And I'm not about that life. I don't want to know your life story. I just ask you one question. What would you be doing in reality? If you were the man or the woman you wanted to be, what would you be doing? Answer that question. That's all I want to know. And then from there, we go through what you would naturally be doing because it's you, it's your personality, it's your nuance. You know, the lens you see the world through. You'd be doing something that only you know. And we just help you flesh it out. That's all. See? Now you've polarized yourself towards who you say you are becoming. And no longer you out here in these streets telling your life story, married to the story, and having the story drain you of your very life essence. No, no, no. You stop that madness. You've already learned what you needed to learn from the story. It is time to set a new neurological pathway down. See, that's how we roll around here. Ow. That's just how we do things. Just how we do things. Anywho, now let me hold you up. Let me check the chat to make sure that I am not missing any questions on Fanbase. Uh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for being here. Melly Mel is in the house. Hey, girl. I see you. Listen, go forth today and check it, Eric. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself. Yeah, but my mama told me this. So every time you walk down the street, you hear your mother's voice in the back of your head. You're living it out. Don't worry about what your mama told you or what your daddy didn't say. Don't fret about that. Don't fret about that anymore. Polarize your mind. Listen, I'm telling you this because the world is vast. It is big, yes? We go out there in the world, and when you go out there, you hear, buy this, eat that, do this, do that. All these things come at us vying for our attention. If you do not know how to deliberately place your attention somewhere, you allow your attention to be pulled in any direction. That is exhausting. And when something has your attention, mm, what you think? Mm. And if it has your attention all the time, what do you think happens to you? So don't think that I'm telling you to do this just so you can get a car, just so you can get a man or a woman. It's bigger than that. You've got to be able to polarize yourself at will so that when you see something, you go, oh, no, not for me. You put yourself where you want to be instead of being dragged where you don't want to go mentally. Because that's what happens when we go out into this world. Things drag us mentally. You doubt me? Let me say ice, ice, baby. And we already got an opinion about ice. And I'm not talking vanilla ice. I'm not talking the ice on the sidewalk that is out there because it's melted. You know what I'm saying. See, you got a mentality when I say ice. You think that got there how? In such a short space of time. Because you heard it repeatedly and you felt it when you heard it. And now that's all anybody can focus on. Why? Because we have not mastered the art yet of polarizing our mental. So don't think I'm telling you this because it's cute. I'm telling you this because our very existence depends upon it. So when you learn, Daddy always says, charity begins at home. Lordy, charity begins at home. What does that mean? Learn how to do it here. Confucius says, do things when they are small. So if you learn through practice to put your mental attitude where you want it. You will always be in control of where you want to be instead of allowing ourselves to be dragged mentally where we don't want to go, arguing over what? Division. There is no division. There is only unity. But YouTube says 50 minutes. Girl, I got to go feed these chickens. So put it into perspective. Right now, what we are doing, practicing a car, practicing a spouse, practicing who we want to become. That's child's play. Those are training wheels. Because it gets bigger than that. It is bigger than that. But if you don't begin, a lot of mercy. I don't know how I do that. We don't, you see, fan base, learn the art of mental polarization. You just got it in real time. Learn the art of mental polarization. Right? And as scripture would tell you, you will learn to deflect the fiery darts of the enemy. Fan base knows exactly what I'm talking about. Right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It happens in real time. And that needed to be here in this space because it goes along with what is happening in the outside world. Every time you turn around, somebody got their business in your face. But if you master the art of mental polarization, you will rise above those things, and then they don't even come across your radar anymore, thereby living a life like it's golden, golden. You don't have to argue anymore. You don't have to fret anymore. You don't have to be in contentious spaces because you don't put yourself there mentally. You don't go down those neurological pathways because you don't create those neurological pathways. So you see, uh, because I love you, I get up every day and I tell you how to do it. Don't think for a moment that I'm on some kind of mountaintop. I'm not on any mountaintop. I live it too. I practice it too. My child practices every single day because we live every day. So you work it out, you practice it every day, right? You practice. What are you practicing? Putting yourself in the mental mood or the mental attitude that you want to be in instead of just trudging through life. You are being deliberate about where you put your attention. You are being deliberate about what you feel in your body. That is what you're practicing. Anywho, I think I have hollered enough for the morning. I don't look, I want to say, how did we get here? Oh, that escalated quickly. Anywho, I love you. Check out positivelyangela.com. Okay. Okay. I have already mailed at least 2 decks of cards out for the prepaid people. When you get it, holla at your girl and let me know that you got it. I mean, I get a notification, but I want to hear from you. Tell me you got it. And if you want to order your deck of cards, what deck of cards you say? not just any deck of cards. These are Hermetic Oracle cards. They teach you the 7 principles so that you can get up every day and do this. Live your life the way you decide. You don't hope for the best. It tells you what you doing. You really want to do that? You want to change? Step 1, step 2, step 3. And it walks you through it every single day. That's what they do. That's why I designed them. So that they make your life easy. If you want to send me a message, sure. PositivelyAngela.com. Holla at your girl. Okie dokie. I do love you. And I will see you on the morrow right here if you want to hang out with us at the crack of dawn with me and these chickens. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fan base. Hello. Yes. And you know how we get down. I came to get down. I came to get down. Stick out your feet and jump around. You know what? Let me stop. And that house of pain. Just the name makes you go, But anywho, always let me know your thoughts. Okie dokie. If you got questions, let me know. Let me know. And we'll address them. Okay? That's okay. We got one on purpose coming up. We even have one on Adam and Eve coming up. Oh, yes, we do. Adam and Eve. Yes. We do. We do have one coming up on Adam and Eve. A morning inspiration. Oh, yeah. It'll be a fun time, I'm sure. Anywho, love y'all, and I will see you on the morrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fanbase. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 love, 1 heart. Let's get together and feel alright. All right, y'all. Little bit says to have a great day. Lady, well, she just being lady in the corner. I don't know that she laid an egg. I think she's broody now. Because she's done laying. And she's just going to brood. And I have to count to see how many days she's going to brood before she lays eggs again. See? Yeah. So this is day 2 of her being in that corner. Oh, yes. We on a roll. We going to figure this out. We're going to figure out her pattern. All right, y'all. Love you.